Enemies in video games. Without enemies, many games aren't so fun or challenging. Some enemies are annoying as hell, and others are likable opponents, and others are very iconic. But now to the point. Me and 11 other people are here to count down my top 12 favorite video game enemies. We're judging these enemies with these aspects: how much challenging it is to defeat them, how iconic they are, their designs, their variations, how useful it is to defeat them. The list goes on. There are many reasons behind all these enemy species. They can be either creatures, an organization, or something else. But know that this is enemies countdown, not villains countdown. There's a big difference. Although we are here to mention the most famous members of these enemies, if they have any. Now, without any delays, let's get this show on the road. Here we go! Oh, how nice of you two to come here to help me. Alright, let's get started!
Monkeys! Yeah! At the start of our list, we have the Peepo Monkeys from the Ape Escape franchise. These little troublemakers are the main enemy character of this franchise, and it's not hard to see why. I mean, look, apes escaping havoc under allegiance to Spectre, the monkey leader. These guys wear flashy helmets called peak point helmets and pants, which is important. Now, the color of their pants defines their personality and their behaviors. For instance, if you need to lie down just to sneak up on them and then strike them with your net. Also, let's not forget about the Freaky Monkey 5. These are Spectre's most powerful and most respected of his troops. Blue Monkey specializes in speed. Pink Monkey specializes in singing, I think? And going crazy. Yeah, there's that. Red Monkey is arguably the strongest of the group, and White Monkey provides the technological prowess. But it seems I am forgetting one more, aren't I? Now, who is... Oh, no. Yellow Monkey!
I'm so terrifying, and I'm voiced by Stephen Blum. Have fun with that factoid. Bye.
But I digress. But last but not least, we have Spectre. Not a specter, but not a spider, Spider Monkey. This guy is responsible for all those events, all those monkeys, and all the chaos. Plus, he puts up a good fight. So, those are the Peepo Monkeys. Why are they on this list? Because they're monkeys. Why are they so low on the list? Because they're stupid monkeys. Just imagine if they were really threatening.
Oh my god, Fussy's dead!
Okay. I'm gonna need a bigger net.
Space pirates. No, not those space pirates. I was talking about the space pirates from Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Created by Percival Tachyon, these robotic space pirates patrol the Polaris galaxy, obliterating and plundering any ship they pass. They traverse the galaxy on turret-mounted pirate destroyers and smaller star cruisers, and a few noble space pirates flying giant skull-shaped ships that served as Star Fox's bosses. They also fight in the ground using pirate weapons such as cutlasses and cannons. They also have a number of rogues, which are basically Mega Man's steroid-induced cousins. And the infamous captain of these pirates is Captain Romulus Slag, a formidable and cutthroat villain alongside his devious first mate Rusty Pete. In Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty, Rusty Pete tricks Rex into reviving Captain Darkward. The space pirate captain before Slag abruptly backstabs him by putting Slag's head on his corpse.
Disgusting.
Sadly, the space pirates get overshadowed by the Valkyries in a crack in time and are no longer present. At least Captain Slag and Rusty Pete continue their radio station where they broadcast rock music and their personal sea shanties. And they're featured in a bunch of mini-games and PlayStation Move Heroes. Always putting up a good fight and getting the upper hook. Slag and his crewmaster, the Sea of Stars.
Zombies have become a staple in modern media, and they have appeared in many games, so you must be guessing which one nifinland chose, right? Well, he chose all of them. Zombies are infected humans and animals who've either been mutated, died, or have been took by a parasite to become zombies. They usually show the intelligence and have instincts of an animal. This can cause them to be very scary due to the lack of humanity. They are used in a lot of different ways in video games, such as serving as plot, subplot, and becoming enemies, and many more. They also have a lot of abilities. Some can be very fast and run at greater speeds than the average human on that game. Yeah, strangely enough, despite being dead, they can actually run faster than the normal human. I find this very weird, so I've brought in a guest to share his opinion on it. So, everybody, here's PBG. Yeah, that was something. Anyways, they can actually be very powerful at times too, and due to their dead nature, they don't show any pain and can actually have more health. This is very weird. I don't understand zombie logic in video games. But I have rambled enough, so I should get to the main points why they are here. First of all, like I said before, they are shown as scary beasts with no humanity left, and when you fight them while surviving for your life, this can be very scary, which is where the fear of zombies comes from, losing your humanity. And in fact, a certain game called Zombie U took this one step further, where if you die, your survivor actually dies and becomes a zombie. And when you respawn as a different survivor, you have to go to kill them and take your stuff back. Now, the other half of zombies are really not that scary. They are in hordes, and we really just love mangling hordes of them dead. It's just that simple. And that is why Left 4 Dead, Dead Rising, and the Call of Duty Zombies series is so popular. Overall, as a gamer, you have most likely faced these monsters, and most likely love them, despite being a very generic and common enemy. And I hope you understand the reasoning for zombies as a whole, making this list as a slot itself. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the list.
Zombies? You mean those slow, easy to kill, rotten flesh covered puppets? How can anyone be afraid of these Halloween losers? The only reason they brought the apocalypse was because everyone was stupid enough to let them bite their flesh. Why can't they be more powerful and dangerous? Why can't they have different attack patterns and strategies depending on their species? Why can't they be like the number 9 enemies on this list, the metalheads? These monstrous creatures, once known as the Aqua, before everyone forgot their true name so they just called them metalheads out of laziness, are the very definition of ultimate apocalypse. Their origins are, for the most part, unknown. All it's known about their origins is that they waged war on the precursors, who are like the gods of the Jak and Daxter universe, and they eventually kicked their godly asses and destroyed most of their civilization. They even invaded Jak's world through the rift gate that Jak, Daxter, Kira, and Samos activated and proceeded to destroy almost every village and city, killing everyone who opposed them. Later, Mar, founder of one of the surviving cities, Avon City, built a giant shield wall to protect his people. Metalheads tried everything to bring the wall down, even sending small insectoid versions of themselves called metal bugs to sabotage it from the inside, but they failed every single time. Mar eventually found out that the metalheads were growing stronger every second, so he built a WMD powered by the precursor stone, which is essentially the last precursor egg, to break open the metalhead nest, but he died before he could use it. There are a lot of different types of metalheads, the most common examples being the Stinger and the Grunt, since these types of metalheads are seen everywhere. The metalhead's most common feature is the skull gems on their foreheads, which you can collect by killing them, and you can use them to unlock more Dark Jak powers in Jak 2, and to unlock side quests in Jak 3. Wait a minute, I just realized something. The skull gems are located in their forehead, which implies that they're the metalhead's brains. So this means you're actually
harvesting the brains of little children! That's some seriously fucked up shit.
Yeah. Anyway, most of the metalheads don't usually show signs of real intelligence, mostly speaking in growls and shrieks, although there are two exceptions, their leader, Metalcore, and his second-in-command, Caden. Metalcore is hands down the scariest villain I've ever faced. Unlike his offspring, Core is very intelligent and can speak human language. Not only that, but he can even disguise himself as a feeble old man to blend in with the humans, and also manipulate Jak and the underground to help crew sabotage the shield wall and open ancient underground passageways. Once Jak finds a male hostage by Baron Praxis, this happens.
I'm sure you know, deep down in your darkest nightmares, we've met before, remember? Everything's going exactly as planned.
Jak! It's the metalhead leader!
Now you see, without the shield wall disrupting my powers inside the city, I am my full potential now. So for the last time, give me the precursor stone!
Everybody run! Help! My backside has been gobbled!
I don't think I need to say anything else about Core, so let's move on to his second-in-command, Caden. What can I say about Caden besides the fact that he reminds me of Professor Snape both appearance-wise and personality-wise? Well, how about the fact that he's the leader of the previously mentioned metal bugs? And also, like his leader Core, he is surprisingly intelligent, speaks human language, and can disguise himself as a human being. Although Core pulled it off better. His main objective was to destroy every exterminator company that is to help advance the metal bug attack on Avon City, but he failed thanks to Daxter. There's a lot more to talk about these metalheads, but that would take days, so in conclusion, the metalheads are incredibly dangerous and vicious, as they can ambush you from anywhere and easily tear you to shreds if you're not ready, and their actions, personalities and abilities in the games they appear in makes them far better candidates to unleash the ultimate apocalypse than those pathetic sacks of rotten flesh.
Fatality.
I love Sonic Unleashed. It is just so much fun, especially the Warhog stages. Yes, I liked the Warhog in both versions of the game. However, why is Sonic like this? Well, Eggman breaks the Earth, drains the power of the Chaos Emerald, and Sonic turns into a Warhog because of Dark Eye's power. During this, also lets loose about a metric butt ton of minions. Though to be honest, I hate the holy hell out of these things. Why? Because they keep looking at me funny. Anyway, let's go over the minions themselves, shall we? Deep Nightmare is your basic of the bunch that can attack by punching. Dark Masters are annoying. They sometimes summon other minions, move quickly, restore health of other enemies, can increase the vigor and power of other foes, and sometimes are on fire, which leads you to find water and put them out and beat them down before they get back to being on fire. The Rexes are easily the least threatening, just 1 or 2 hits and BAM! Dead. Spikes are basically a bomb once you strike them. Killer Bees are really just a nightmare, but a little bit higher up. The Dark Frights are able to let you grab onto them in order to travel further into the level. The Titans and Cyclops monsters have thick, spiky armor, and they wield a huge wooden club. And the Big Mothers can swing their arms and summon Rexes. But the one everyone knows about are the boss battles. The Dark Moray is a giant serpent with the ability to breathe ice heaps and manipulate several nightmare minions. The Dark Guardian is a monster resembling an overgrown Deep Nightmare with Greek armor and long green hair, and can spin around maniacally. Then there's the big one, the Dark Gaia Phoenix, who looks pretty dang cool and can use the power of fire and has possibly the best boss fight in the whole game. Jeez, that was a lot of different kinds of enemies. Need I mention that these enemies have lots of crazy designs and patterns? Also, these enemies can actually suppose a challenge, which is quite rare in most Sonic games, let alone the 2D ones. So all in all, the Dark Gaia minions have cool designs, propose a challenge, and have many different variations, and still look at me funny.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go do something about that.
Wait, Goombas aren't on this list?
Somebody's really pissed off?
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo! All jokes aside, number 9 is, well, booze.
Yay!
The boos are basically the ghosts of the Mario world. Being little white things that hide when you look directly at them, boos can be a pain in the basic Mario games. But they really shine in the Luigi's Mansion games. They are tricky to beat, but fun at the same time. Also add on to the fact that King Boo is the main freaking villain of these games. These guys are so cool that they even make appearances in the spin-offs, with King Boo being in Mario Kart Wii and DS, and a regular Boo wearing a witch outfit in Mario Party 5. These ghosts of the Mushroom Kingdom are quite the powerhouses, and have been well renowned by everyone. That is why they are on this list. I still would have preferred Goombas.
Oddworld. What an odd experience. Seriously, if there's one thing the title has hands down perfect, it's the title. Just no other way to describe this game. It's odd. But yeah, the main enemy you focus on in this game are the Sligs. Sligs are essentially these robotic pig slug things that have been given robotic body parts all around.
Odd, that looks strangely familiar.
I have to say, out of all the enemies on this list, I think these are the ugliest. Not in terms of being bad, but dear lord! I mean, I honestly feel sorry for whatever soul is trapped in that lump of skin and metal. Jeez. But what's honestly great about them is how you take them down. See, Oddworld isn't a game where you just hit an enemy and boom, he's down. No, no, no. Instead, it all relies on the power of mind control. If you use Abe to mind control a Slig, it can take out the remaining Sligs in the area for you, essentially. You can also have it pull levers for you to help you advance in an area. And what happens to the Slig you took over once you're done with it? Well, it takes a page from Super Mario Land and explodes! Nah, it's not that big. pretty fun. There are plenty of different kinds of sligs throughout the Oddworld series as well. You got your walking sligs, which are the most basic of the slig pile, and I'll be using the term as of now, and you have your grenade-launching flying sligs of death. Yeah, pack that in your fun box. Grenade flyers, as I like to call them, can be an absolute hell. These guys are an exclusive to Abe's Exodus, and they are quite bomb-happy. Overall, the sligs are pretty damn good in my opinion. The designs are freakishly nice, they're well balanced, but in the end, I like the method of attack. Most enemies have you go and rush at them with some sort of weapon, if any, and take them out. These enemies require you to do something unique, to pick a good slig from the bunch and have them mow down the rest, which not only adds a sense of strategy, but immense satisfaction. Let me ask, just how is it not fun to take control of a slig and have him just tear apart his teammates? That's just...
It's too perfect. I can't. It's just, I can't. I'm too amazed. It's just, I can't, alright? I can't. I just can't.
Now to talk about some really special enemies, because at least from what I see, the apes from the Legends of Spyro series are a big threat to be considered, but oddly so also a very interesting analysis, because the apes from this series are all out for one purpose, to reawaken the Dark Lord Malefor. These minions of the dragon are quite tricky and intelligent, in which they attack with bombs, buffing off smaller apes, teleport during combat, and especially use weapons and attack in groups. That one makes me go skeptical, because that makes it difficult for me to decide if they count as anthropoids or humanins, since they have the cognitive abilities of the Homo sapiens but the raw appearance of the anthropoids. Or are they maybe missing links because of their high objective intelligence and cognitive? Oh, come on! When you know that it is me that are talking, you should at least be aware that I will go at least a little bit educational. I can't help it, but I will have no monkey business here! Seriously, have I just become the poster child of old jokes? Well, anyway, the apes themselves do show to be a great threat, especially in a group, and also because they are freaking pirates. But that's another story. But as the corruption runs deep and Malefor is released from the eternal prison, the apes become more like skeletons than anything else, making them kinda scary. But as it is being a game, you can of course also have fun with them. Cause I can say a lot about if they are smart or not, or if they might know something that I really didn't know. But in these games that I can tell to you, that there's far more better ways to end their company. You can smash him, you can trash him, you can blast him, you can chug him, you can fish him, you can fish him, you can stack him. You can kick him all around like a crazy bandicoot. You can flame all away till there's nothing left but soup. You can throw him up in the middle and make him hit the ground. You can mill it in the middle and finish in a pound, pound, pound. So they're cool, intelligent, and clever enemies, but they are also funny punching bags. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm finding me some apes! Come to Papa!
Greek mythology is definitely one of the most beloved and known mythologies in all of history. I mean, it is full of interesting gods, epic heroes, and I did not forget them, enormous and terrifying beasts. The combination of all of these things is the reason Greek mythology is used in different media, and gaming is no exception. I think we can all agree that God of War is the most popular series that did this, and of course, all of the enemies are based off this mythology. But which one is on the countdown? Well, of all the big and powerful monsters he could choose from, Nifinland decided to go with the rock. Yeah, this mundane and silly piece of harmless rock. It may sound like a stupid choice, but oh my god, holy fuck, this is actually a Minotaur! Of course, a stupid joke aside, the Minotaurs are some of the most interesting and fearsome enemies in the God of War franchise, and with good reason. They are one of the most famous creatures in Greek mythology, and the representation in this gaming series is sublime. You will first encounter this beast at the beginning of the original game, and right from the get-go you can tell it will not be easy for you to defeat them. You will have to use your reflexes to avoid their powerful attacks and destroy their big bodies, until a violent quick-time event is activated and you finally kill these bastards. However, like almost every enemy in this series, that will be only the beginning, since Kratos will find different types of Minotaurs through his 6 different games, and each one will be harder to beat than the last one. Some will wield huge weapons like axes or hammers, others will use the powers of ice or fire, and others will attack on groups. And then we have the Titan Minotaur's mini-boss, which I already mentioned. Seriously, this almost gives me a heart attack every time I face them! And then we have Pandora's Guardian, a giant cool-looking armor Minotaur that protects Pandora's box in one of the most epic and entertaining boss battles in the entire franchise. Another reason we love this monster so much is because of their designs. Every Minotaur looks badass, epic, and to be honest, maybe a little bit scary. It's important to note that their designs got more realistic in God of War 3, and the method for defeating them is a little bit different, but they are still an imponent enemy you will love to kill. Overall, the Minotaurs from the God of War series deserve this good spot. They are hard but satisfying to defeat, their designs are always enjoyable to look at, and they are a symbolic part of the Greek mythology this series represents. It doesn't matter where Kratos goes, he will always find a bunch of these monsters that want to kill him, and that is epic.
Let me tell you a story. A story about a heaven that downgraded to hell. A story about the sinners who destroyed one sacred place. A story about a city. A story about Rapture. A city that was once that place where men could be free had become a war zone. A vessel deep in the ocean that kept those who dwelt too deep into madness. Rapture is known for having many fierce foes, each one with his own special traits. Is it a weapon, or even a plasmid that makes them harder to kill? But regardless of what they have at their disposal, at the end of the day, none of them stands against the mighty Big Daddy. Do not underestimate Mr. Bubbles because of his childish name, because that's where the big irony lies. He is the ultimate predator. Everyone prefers to run away from him as soon as they hear the steps. However, they don't do it for their satisfaction. In fact, it is possible to simply leave them alone. But if you ever try to attack the little girl, then do get ready for a real fight, because that's what you will have. There are many kinds of Big Daddies, but they all have one trait in common, the fact that none of them is human. Experimental Big Daddies were at some point human, a person inside a diving suit. But the modern Big Daddy are nothing more than a machine built to protect a little mutant that gathers Adam from corpses. The people who volunteered for this task had their skin and organs built into the suit, so whenever you see a Big Daddy, please remember that there is nothing inside that suit. He is the suit. Big Daddies come in many shapes and sizes, such as Bouncers, Rosies, Rumblers, Lancers, and an Alpha series that evolved into what could be considered a Splicer. Big Daddies are something amazing, because despite being looked at as a predator by the citizens of Rapture, it is nothing more than a guardian that will only attack if the person he protects is in danger. So don't worry, because as long as you stay out of his way, nothing will ever happen to you. But if you dare to challenge him for a fight, he will hunt you down until the end of days, and he will kill you.
When it comes to major video game villains, there are a couple aspects of them that we generally expect to see. An intimidating appearance, superior power, maybe a manic laugh, and occasionally their own personal army of minions. You know, Bowser has his Koopas, Arthas has his Death Knights and his Scourge, Eggman with his robots. In the case of Baron Dante from the Croc series, he has his Dantinis. These guys have been the notorious wee troublemakers and gobo nappers that Crocs had to deal with through his 2 console installments. Like most enemies of platform games, they tend to be a nuisance rather than a huge danger. Doesn't mean these guys are redundant, however. They are Baron Dante's loyal followers, sharing his hatred of the adorable little gobos and following his orders to capture and imprison them, while doing everything they can to prevent Croc from releasing them. So loyal, in fact, that they worked to revive Baron Dante at the start of Croc 2. As with most groups of generic minions, the Dantinis come in a variety of types. The chasing Dantinis will pursue you if you stray too close, and they're even given a special breed that will occasionally burst into flames. The Devil Dantinis are armed with tridents, a manic laugh, and little horns, and they'll shoot energy balls at you at close proximity. Stomping Dantinis are there to dislodge you from monkey bars, generally over a lake of ice or a bottomless pit. And the swimming Dantinis, well, they swim? In Croc 2, they are much larger than their first game counterparts, and they're generally more dangerous, a lot harder to avoid, so it's recommended actually killing them rather than just running. The Dantinis make up the vast majority of enemies that you'll find in Croc 1 and 2, and that's what makes them so memorable. They're loyal to Baron Dante, they're a nuisance for Croc, and they'll always be standing in the way of you and your gobos.
Honestly, I can see many letter bombs already because of this segment. There, I said it! Titans from modern Crash Bandicoot games are my favorite video game enemies of all time.
What? Why them? They're not iconic or anything.
True, but that doesn't change the fact how good enemies they are. At the beginning of Crash of the Titans, Uka Uka tells Cortex about Mojo mutation, and mutation that can be done with magical substance called Mojo. Most of these Titans are mutated hybrids of 2 animals, giving them badass designs and attacks. Kinda like... And best of all, just like with Sligs, Titans can be taken under players' control, which gives me so much enjoyable gameplay to crush everything on sight.
Is that the only advantage that Titans give players?
Not at all! When you kill these mighty mutants, they drop power-ups and mojo. And Titans are also very cool enemies because of their combat skills. I don't understand why people belittle modern Crash Bandicoot games because of the Titans. And what makes them even better enemies is the very colorful set of variations of the Titans. 15 different Titans to be exact, excluding bosses. But I'll just say this to finish this countdown. I'm nifinland, and Titans are my favorite video game enemies of all time. And in order to think which one of these 15 Titans is the absolute best one there is, I'm proud to announce that one of my next countdowns will be a collab with Obsidious fan.
We will present to you top 15 Crash Bandicoot Titans, coming soon worldwide. See you all next time.
Ya said it, mate. See you all next time. And thank you so much to everyone for helping me with this topic. Now, get the fuck out of my channel! Nah, just kidding.